So in today's video, we're going to be generally talking about cameras and how simple they really are. So a camera has two controls that allow us to vary the amount of light that reaches the film or sensor. We can adjust the shutter and we can adjust the aperture. The shutter controls the duration of time that the exposure is made for, and the aperture controls the intensity of light that is traveling through the lens to the sensor or the film. This is a Brownie Hawkeye. This is about as simple of a camera you can possibly get. Kodak made gazillions of them. You press this button here, shutter opens for a period of time, and then it closes. There's light that travels in through this lens and is recorded by film on the back of the camera here, inside the camera, not actually on the back of the camera, because that would be what we would do with digital. We'd look at the back of the camera, but there's no image here because this one's film. One of the primary differences between film and digital. So simple, I could even work it. Anyway, it's a box with film or a digital sensor. That is what a camera is. Super simple. There's a lens, there's a shutter, and then there's an aperture. Usually we use a lens, but you could use a pinhole. Light is focused through the lens onto the film when we press the shutter. The shutter controls the amount of time that the exposure is made for, and the opening of the lens itself controls the intensity of light. In the case of the Brownie Hawkeye, a lot of the settings are fixed. The amount of time that the shutter is open for is fixed, as well as the aperture. And in fact, the focus is also fixed. It's fixed so that anything that's about 4 feet or 1.5 meters away from the camera will be acceptably sharp. And then it uses a particularly small aperture to give us a zone of depth of field that renders most things in focus from maybe 3 feet to infinity. That's called hyperfocusing, and I'll talk about that in a video sometime coming up later. You press a button, and the shutter opens for a period of time, and then you close it. That's as simple as a camera gets. So simple, in fact, that the child version of me could even use this thing. Who am I kidding? There's only one version of me. It is child, 100%. So in last week's video, I talked about the Sunny 16 rule. If you didn't have a camera, that video probably didn't make any sense. But now, I've talked about the camera, so now perhaps the video makes more sense. Either way, here's a link to it. Thanks, guys.